All right, we gotta get Trey out of here. So
yeah, and Angela's tired of us already.
Oh yeah, Angela's been tired.
Yeah, she's been tired of us too.
She's tired of us when she got here.
She didn't want to be here, bro. She got in through the door and was like, really?
I was like low key late. I was trying to fix the tripods. I was trying to fix the cameras, just to end up with the same goddamn configuration.
Yep.
Because the tripod didn't come with the base that I needed.
Pretty much.
And sometimes you can't trust these things, man. Things let you down a lot.
Technology's great when it works.
Yeah, it'll let you down. You know what doesn't let you down?
No, what?
A lot about nothing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We have applause, by the way.
Yes, I love it.
Welcome back to A Lot About Nothing.
I love it.
This is an entertainment show where we say our opinions on things, and we don't usually have facts here. We might have some facts today.
Why do you like that? You can't say that. That makes it sound like we're lying. We do have facts.
No.
Okay, we have opinions.
I only say that so people don't come here for like references.
Oh, I mean, yes, but I mean,
because like they said on A Lot About Nothing. Like, well, no, these are just gentlemen.
But
that are just talking on mics. Huh?
I mean, technically,
we know some things.
I'm
not saying we're stupid.
Okay,
we know some things.
But then
it's just I don't want us to be like a source of like.
Okay, we're not a source of.
Don't cite us on your papers.
We're not a news source. We're not a news source. That's fair.
We're not a news source. Just don't cite us on your papers, and you'll be fine.
That's fair.
But as long as you're live and you're entertained, and we're doing our part on the show.
That's okay.
Welcome back. Victor's not here, very obviously, because he did not turn into a woman. This is a whole nother person. and so it's kind enough to come over. I don't know how Trey coerced her.
I was like, it's an awesome podcast, and the topic's great. And she was like, ew. And then I begged, and then she was like, I guess. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it. Easy.
See, friendship.
With no food, I was promised food. And
it'll come. Maybe not from him, but not from me either. Sorry. No food.
Lies, deceit, deception.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of I say here's the thing a lot on this podcast. I've noticed.
He does.
But a lot of bigger podcasts have like catering and stuff. But we're small people.
Yeah, they ain't gonna have no time soon for us. Yeah. I mean, that'd be nice. But
yeah.
I mean, we're working up to it. It's work in progress.
Yeah. Today we're talking about gentrification of the community. We may or may not have talked about this before, but you know, whenever we revisit a topic here on this podcast, it's because we either grew in our understanding or we have a different view on it.
That's fair.
And I grew in my understanding.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good.
No, it's not good. It's not good at all.
Oh, why not?
My headphone's broken, so it's like flopping everywhere.
So
I can still use it.
That's fair. It is flopping.
It's fine.
Little Mickey Mouse here.
Yeah.
Mouse
here.
It does actually.
Yeah, I know. All right, please.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue. Gentrification and community.
Gentrification and community things. Episode 115 is out. Please take a look, take a gander. If you guys ever see that I don't have like a clip out for an episode, it's because I've been extremely tired. And this is why podcasts have like people, like a whole team set up. Someone's probably just sitting there waiting for clips, and then they'll pick that time frame out. And it's so much easier for them to do it. For me, it's a lot.
That makes sense.
So I got to edit the whole hour and something podcast, and then I got to cut the clip from that hour, and then from that hour, I got to make it fit on your phone. Then I got to put captions now because motherfuckers can't listen to anything. They have to read as well. Got to put the captions. Captions got to be exciting. We got to talk about some shit that you might like to get like 0 views. So
it happens, man.
Well, I don't know. That Mr. Beast clip we put out is banging right
pretty
now.
Hard. That one was very popular.
Banging.
Very controversial.
Thank God I turned off the comments.
It was very controversial.
Yeah, very controversial for no reason though.
Not no reason, man. People love being offended. What you mean? Being offended is that's a powerful thing. That's not me saying that. By the way, don't let someone strawman me and then be like, he doesn't like wokeness. Like no. Simultaneously, like we can simultaneously be woke and also like be offended by things, and that happens. Simultaneously that can occur.
Yeah. But yeah, that Mr. Beast clip is going crazy. Y'all need to be more respectful on the internet, man. Just relax. Just relax.
Yeah.
Right? I put out the clip about the Fury movie. That's actually not doing bad either.
Because it's a cool clip. Yeah, it was a cool movie.
That was a cool movie.
It was a very good movie.
That was a good movie. Someone said Fury? We're conflating Saving Private Ryan and Fury, but I'm pretty sure in Fury, the dude went to get on the tank and he was like, he had like an administrative job, right? Damn, we gotta rewatch the movie.
I guess I'll have to rewatch.
No, because Saving Private Ryan, they went to go get the dude, his brother, to go.
Yeah, for sure, they had to go actually save Private Ryan. Yeah, that's true. And Fury, they were a little tank crew, and before the war, as most war movies start off with them in normal day-to-day lives, I'm pretty sure that was the thing. And then they got into a tank crew, and then it was extraordinarily brutal and rough. And the tank fights, Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about tank fights, they were pretty awkward, but they were really cool. The sound effect was great. The sound design was great.
Yeah, the tank fight wasn't great.
Tank crew yelling was great. It was pretty neat.
It was good. It was fun. It was fun.
I like the movie.
I see that.
You know what else I like? Shaking my rump. Explode your rump, boom shakalaka. That was boom shakalaka by guess this name now, Mr. Black. And I'm not talking Goku.
God dang it! That's
not talking DBZ.
That's fair.
If you didn't hear that song, that's because you listened to us on YouTube, which is great. Just please subscribe and like the video as well, because this was a pain today to set up. But just please subscribe and like the video. Obviously, you can't play music on YouTube. We don't have a license for that. So if you're listening to it on YouTube, I'll probably make the cut. I'll still give you the first part of the pod and then give you this part too. And I'll just have to make a cut in between. You see a little jump cut like that.
Ooh, so skillful.
Yeah, and it'll be good. It'll be good. All right, we gotta get Trey out of here. So let's talk about our community. But I don't have an IQ.
Well, I think bringing up gentrification was a pretty strong one, and I'm just gonna use. Let me see if I have the.
Oh, another fun fact. Believe it or not, all of the questions we're gonna read today are generated by Chat GPT.
That makes so much sense.
But you see how succinct they are?
That made sense. Yeah, I thought
I don't write questions like that.
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. I said it to them. I was like, I don't think this is. Yeah. I don't think I actually wrote these. I feel like these might have been made from something or somewhere. So I thought they were very peculiar, and I thought it was. I think now that I know that, I think it is interesting that even when we were like discussing the questions, we were like, it seems like there's a bit of a negative connotation automatically about the concept of gentrification. And I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying that when we were reading the questions initially, we were like, I mean, it is something that we are seeing a lot of the negative impacts of, but it's not something that is only ever bad. It is just acknowledging how a certain system is working, Right. So it's not necessarily bad. For the IQ, I imagine literally just reading the actual definition of gentrification as we go into the.
You have it ready?
Oh, of course. I prepped. So just getting into it, so you guys know, gentrification, a noun. The process whereby
not a noun.
Sorry, the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. See, so like there is like arguably, but objectively, it is bringing in new businesses and improving housing. That is a thing. But thanks to the systems of America, it typically displaces communities of color.
Let me tell you what I saw, right?
Long-time resident communities of color, by the way. Might I say?
That's why I told my dad, like, we not selling the house, because I was talking to him and the dude had called him and he's like, hey, I'm seeing if you want to sell the house. And my dad's like, you see it up for sale? He's like, no, I didn't see it. Like, why are you calling me?
Exactly. People are really trying to.
Because they bought all the houses from across the street.
Of course.
Remember, and they're trying to build apartments there, but I think they've been halted for a little bit. Probably a zoning thing. Because that whole street is single family homes.
Yep.
So it might be zoning thing that they can't build apartments there, but they bought all the houses from there. They redid the road. And I don't know if I told this road story, but my mom told me that, because every time I went to go see my mom, the road was like broken down and stuff.
Yep.
Because they were remaking it, but it was like that for months. But these white people that like moved next door, they're brand new to the area, bought the house, renovated everything. The house looks great, by the way.
Yep. And
they saw that it was like that for months, so they put like a sign out on their mailbox or something, like, we've been here for so and so long. This road's never done. What's waiting? What's taking so long? Da da da. And after a while, I think someone took it down. They put it right back up.
Yep.
And not too long after that, the road was paved.
Yeah.
I'm saying the road was done. It was smooth. I went there. I talked to my mom. She's like, "Oh yeah, they put a sign out there. Everything was good." After a couple months, I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." Because we would have just had to wait.
But I mean that is a conversation that some elders in the community now have, and where, like, as an example, like, there's a noise ordinance west of Swinton, but there isn't one east of Swinton, and like
because that's downtown.
Yeah, historically, east of Swinton also was the white side of town. West of Swinton was the black side of town. So, like, resident wise as well, like, they were living that. There wasn't one. So when we're thinking about just how that works now, we're gonna have people who are then going to acknowledge the, again, objective fact that the reason they don't have a noise ordinance on the east side of town is because they argued for it. But it was the white people of the community arguing for it also. So though there may have been one on both sides of town, on the east side of town, there isn't one. But it is arguable that, they were the ones who are also going to be listening to. Right. But nowadays, I do think that people of color have a larger voice in the town. And so I do think that in certain issues, like, we do need to argue for our, reclaim our time, argue for our space more, argue for what we want more. It's why we try to, gather together and get into groups and actually advocate for our communities.
Well, a lot of leaders are people of color, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. No, they are. They totally are. So I think that's a powerful thing, especially in our community.
The mayor, right? Not mayor, city manager.
No, city manager, yes. Yeah. Definitely not the mayor, but the city manager.
City manager, I know.
Sorry. I don't mean as a bad thing. I don't mean that. I just feel like it's a blonde white woman. Like, no, it's not. It's definitely not a person of color. Yeah. So, sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. I apologize.
You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
What you said was just truth. It wasn't.
It's just true.
Yeah, you didn't insult her.
That's what it is.
It's fine. She's not gonna listen to this podcast.
Bro, 10 years from now, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. When you're running for mayor,
I might run for stuff. I don't know. Like that one time, he was talking about his opponent. What? Yeah. So, anywho,
I dug this up on YouTube.
Yeah, man, it happens. So, but anywho, yeah. So there is progress. It is happening. It is also 2023, and we were red line in 1954, but the entire black side of town, our roads and whatnot are nowhere near as built up as the infrastructure east side of town. That is a conversation happening, and it is being discussed now, and there are projects in place now. That's true. Also, it's 2023, and they're just happening. Yeah. So as awesome as the projects are, I'm not going to act like everything's fine and hunky-dory now. Like, it is extraordinarily late.
That's because the money's coming in from the other businesses,
of course,
from out of town.
Now money's coming in from the tourism, money's coming in from downtown. Now there's more reason to actually build up the whole town, because now gentrification is happening. And the more wealthier families, wealthier tourists move in, the more they need to build up all these back roads now.
Angie, have you seen any gentrification where you live, in your area?
In my area?
Nah.
No.
Not really?
Not really. No. Oh, actually, no.
I hope so for a second.
Sorry, I crushed you. I'm sorry. No.
My heart.
No.
Lucky.
I mean, where I used to live, though, where I used to live in Pittsburgh, there's a whole, it's a whole side of town. I think I was there when, after it happened. So when I got to talk and make friends with people who used to live there, they were like, oh yeah, this whole area you see here. I'm like, oh, clearly. I can clearly see that, and you can clearly see the lines where they stopped. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Probably where they were blocked.
Yeah, and it happened to be that my one friend ended up being displaced from that area. Actually,
damn,
somewhere else.
These are the consequences.
And displacement's one of the main ones. That more and more of the officials are talking about is the fact that it is displacing the communities of color who have been here for a long time. But going back in the past, they were kind of forced to be here anyway. A lot of these areas were then disinvested into, and so you're going to see banks not actually helping these communities get loans or get grants or tell companies to invest in the infrastructure in these neighborhoods. So for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decades, they can't really build up their neighborhoods, or banks own a lot of the homes in the neighborhoods. Or private investors own a lot of the homes in the neighborhoods.
Super facts.
And then they don't need to actually do anything on the land. They could let the home stay abandoned, let the value of the area stay low, so that as the area around it builds up, now the city has to pay that person millions upon dollars to reclaim the area that should have been built up anyway, should have been keeping up with the actual area around it, or at least owned by families or something, but just isn't.
How do developers and investors contribute to gentrification?
Oh,
let me tell you, friend.
That goes right into it. Thank you, Chat GPT.
Thank you, Chat GPT. Oh, a Chat 4 came out.
Nani? What do you mean?
Just a little side tangent. Chat 4.
Oh,
it's like the fourth iteration of their chat model by OpenAI, and this thing could do like everything. It'll write a website for you from like a piece of paper.
That's wild.
It's insane.
Is this iRobot? What is that?
We're getting
we had that talk, didn't we?
We did.
We had that talk. Yeah,
we're building up to it.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty insane. But of course, it's behind a paywall.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's premium.
How else do they?
Yeah. It's premium with a capital pre.
Yeah, how else do they fund it? So.
Yeah, it's premium, but yeah. So in my old neighborhood or beyond there, not too far beyond there, there's these new developments that very, very obviously do not belong. Because they're like all these. I got you with a picture. Hold on, bro. I got you with a picture. Because there are all these small houses, probably like 3 2s. 2 2s.
Yeah, little homes and cottages.
Little homes and stuff there. And then they have this big ass 4-bedroom, 3-bath mansion. Then they built up. They didn't build out. It's huge. And it does not belong. You know it's going to cost $400,000.
Only 4? Wild, dude. I'm thinking the low
Look at this
600,000. Yeah, it's going to be the low 600.
And this is hood adjacent, by the way. This house is hood adjacent.
Hood adjacent. Never mind. It might be 500,000 to 600,000 and give it like 5 years.
With a 2-car garage?
Yes.
Yeah.
2-car garage.
That's going to be 700,000-800,000.
Huge, by the way.
Very soon.
4.3. And I'm looking at this like, I looked at Google Maps, like, because Google Maps be having some old pictures.
Yeah.
I looked at how it looked on Google Maps. There were 2 houses on that lot.
Oh.
They tore down, but probably bought both those houses, tore it down. They built this one big ass house. Probably gonna be a fence around it. Probably gonna be a gate there.
Of course, why wouldn't
it? And it does not belong.
Why wouldn't it be?
These developers are buying up the neighborhood and like raising the property value of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So now other people can sell their homes, right? Other people can sell the homes that are premium.
Sure.
But where are they gonna live?
You can't buy a home in the same area.
You can't buy a home in the same area.
You have to leave. And if you leave, where else around are you going to be able to even buy?
Also, a lot of people there are kind of like grandfathered in on the property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a new home, your property tax can be through the roof. Sky high. And who can afford those property taxes?
Mm-hmm.
The rich.
Mm-hmm.
So now a bunch of rich people are going to come to this neighborhood. They're going to try to change everything up.
That's what happens.
Everybody's gonna,
a lot of the mom and pop stores, they lose their base.
Yeah, and that's true. Out of business.
Whether they live in the neighborhood or not, so if they live in the neighborhood and they lose their business, like that's a problem. But even if they live out of the neighborhood or just on the outskirts of it and their business is downtown, they're losing a lot of the people who might even know that they're there.
Yeah.
So then a lot of new people coming in, they're going to go to the tourist hotspots instead of the mom and pop places that kind of keep the neighborhood flowing.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a lot of those places go down or go out of business. What's this called? Donnie's Place. That's Donnie's Place. Who's down there. On 5th, actually, right next to freaking Spady.
It closed down, didn't it?
It closed down, and like, it just sucks because like that food was amazing food, but we consistently see problems with businesses of color staying afloat in the black neighborhoods, and like at some point you have to stop assuming that it's the fault of the black people that all of their businesses keep failing, and oh man, like I don't know, like I don't think all of them are that ignorant.
Well, Del Rey loves businesses from outside.
Oh, they
love outside business.
Indeed.
They don't invest in the businesses here.
No, not at all. Sadly, I'm not going to say not at all. That's rude. Sorry, all whoever happens to watch
Rarely.
This 10 years from now.
I'm protecting his stock.
I'm just saying. Sorry. But
you can change that, Mayor.
Right. So, sorry, but no, we do see a crap load of foreign businesses and foreign investors, foreign developers. I don't mean foreign is like across. Actually, probably might have some national people. Actually, I think about it, but yeah, tourism's strong, and they know that these are tourist all American areas where gentrification is ripe. It's not like people who are real estate moguls aren't actively daily looking for where cheaper and cheaper real estate is.
I told you they're trying to buy my house every day.
Because there are people whose whole job
every day they're trying to buy my home.
Yeah, all day, every day, all week, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday through freaking Friday, whatever.
They look at the property appraisal.
They're looking for it. Yeah, we need to do is get a real estate podcast and get Tito on it, man. Regazzuro. He's a real estate guy. I also need to get Shirley. Both of them are into real estate. They're good friends of mine from high school.
I know any real estate agents? I know one.
I know a couple, man, from school. Actually, I think Jimmy's in it too.
Jimmy is a real estate agent.
So I know at least three off the top of my head.
Yo, this would be a great one.
That'd be a good one. Let's get all of them in, man.
Hey, listen, real estate pod coming soon.
Yeah. Learn about that.
That's interesting, yeah.
Because, like, again, it's not me. I'm not saying this is all a doom and gloom thing. Like, gentrification, again, is merely like it is just the process of like wealthier people coming into like these areas, and like doesn't necessarily mean white versus black. In America, happens to be white versus black, but this is urbanization. Like that's really what it is. It is urbanization, and bringing the properties around urban areas up to the same standard of the urban areas. Simultaneously, America's racist as crap, and so a lot of our systems are based on redlining, and so the areas that we have to gentrify necessarily are then going to be communities of color who have never been invested in by the country, thus tend to be lower income, tend to be unable to then afford the raising property tax. Right. So just going into how and developers and investors contribute gentrification. If they aren't invested in like the history of the area, they have no need to care about the fact that there are a bunch of black people here. And
that's true. Yeah,
they're going to say
this is good land. It's a great location.
On paper, it's a great location. The houses are freaking cute because these people have been keeping them together
right
for
next
decades.
to downtown.
Right next to downtown.
You can walk there.
People are walking all the time.
Yeah.
There are like consistently daily. There are white people walking in front of Spady now because they're walking from their homes to Atlantic Avenue and they just walk downtown.
In my old house.
Completely fine doing
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there this weekend or last weekend. I was there to see my mom.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of Caucasians.
Bro,
they weren't previously there.
Were you just sitting on the porch, just watching?
No,
I was working on her car, so I was in the front driveway area. And there just loads of them. I'm like, wow, this is a different sight. It's a different sight. Usually I see Haitians walking down here.
Yeah, man. So
now there's less Haitians.
Yeah, it's happening, man, and it's very peculiar.
Yeah,
I mean, especially in this area. I mean, you're only a mile away from the beach.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like if you go anywhere south, you're like any of that property is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So like to have cute little homes a mile away from the beach, that's hot spot.
Super hot spot.
They want to scoop them all
out.
out.
For sure. It's strong.
Big guy.
Kick them all out.
It's strong. They are.
Yeah.
They try.
They are.
They are actively doing it, man.
I used to jog to the beach every morning. During summer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why are you saying
you used to what?
I used to jog to the beach.
Are you
horrible
sure?
variables to why you
You jogged?
I jogged to the beach. It wasn't that far.
No, I didn't.
Actually,
I'm not
from
talking
where
about the
you live.
distance.
Oh.
I was talking about the jogging.
You run?
You were running.
Your legs
to the
move that
beach?
fast?
I ain't about it. I feel you.
Okay.
I ain't trying to run
In my
that
younger days when I could run.
Back in the before times.
But before 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
My calves ain't ready for that right now.
Yeah, I used to jog to the beach in the summer because in the summer I was
From
young.
here?
I didn't have a job yet.
So that's miles.
I was just jog to the beach. I was in ROTC, so I used to run all the time.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
That makes sense.
And we had cross country, so we always felt mild competition with them as well in ROTC, I guess.
Right. So I jog to the beach every morning, go there, chill, reflect on life, and then jog back. Be a good little.
He's a poet, so
good little workout.
He has to connect with nature.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Connect with nature.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, write down some of my stuff. It was trash at the time, but now
it's not correct.
Now it's a little bit more refined, which is why I stopped writing.
Hindsight's 2020.
It's harder now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's harder to write.
Hindsight's 2020, man. It's good
Have you ever been to the library down here?
There's a library?
Okay.
What? Stop it. Stop it.
Fun fact.
Tell me you're kidding. Stop.
What library?
Yo.
What?
It's downtown. It's right
You
next
work
to Dunkin'.
here.
Oh.
It's across from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yeah. No, the old Dunkin' Donuts. Rest in peace.
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone?
It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Because they're taking out the docks and Dunkin' Donuts. They're rebuilding that whole block right there.
Yeah.
They're
Probably a
gentrifying it.
Starbucks, maybe. Another one.
probably
Who knows?
sure.
Maybe.
It'll be like a third or fourth one downtown.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which
Which is even more wild because those those franchises are really owned by a lot of Indian people.
They are trying,
like Dunkin' Donuts in general. I don't know who came up with that business plan, but they just spread it out to all the Indian people.
No, they're just wise.
A lot of them have like a lot of Indian owners, and I'm like, wow, I see that all the time.
Oh,
not a bad thing. Get your bread. With the franchise, it might be easier to get into than we thought.
So I will say,
I need to talk to Sanaul.
So this is a conversation that I actually had at Spady, and I have it with a lot of Jewish people actually, where it's about like, how do you feel about this era of like anti-Semitism and like the Black and Jewish community? Like, how do you feel about like their relations and blah blah blah? And the thing I always bring up is how the systems of white supremacy view Jewish versus brown versus Black populations. And when they talk about Jewish and Asian and brown populations, it is as an equivalent enemy. And when it is about Black people, it is as a nuisance or disturbance. And so when it is like the stereotypes of Black people will be like violence, ignorance, unintelligent, aggressive. When it comes to like Jewish families, it's just about like, they own the banks, they own real estate. They always care about their business. When it's about brown people, yes, they care about making their own businesses and keeping in the family and not getting out of their family. These are the tenets of capitalism.
Yeah.
Somehow the stereotypes of these other people are about being capitalists, but when it comes to Black people, it's about them being like degenerates,
right?
And like the enemies gnawing at the roots of society, but like
the heels.
Yeah, but like when it comes to the quote unquote stereotypes of Indians or the stereotypes of Asians or the stereotype East Asians, I should say, the stereotypes of these different communities. We hear them, or Jewish families. We also hear them. It's about money, and it's about they will not replace us. These enemies who are of equivalent power, no way we can let them replace us in our jobs. When it comes to, Black resistance, they're rioting. They're trying to destroy our country, and they are angry and aggressive. So like when you're on the point about, why are these so many businesses, in Indian families? Like a lot of times it's because they're capitalists. They come to the country and literally they're like, oh, the country is about everyone should be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Literally everyone. Every single person should be an entrepreneur. That is the entire purpose of capitalism.
Yeah.
Because if you're not the entrepreneur, then you are necessarily the slave or servant class, the worker class.
Well, if you're not the business owner, you're the consumer.
That's all it is. Yeah. Like there's one or two options.
Capitalism 101.
And
I give service, you take service. Yes.
That's what it is. And it ends up being that, yes, we see the gas stations, we see the Dunkin' Donuts, we see a lot of the general store owners, we see a lot of the restaurant owners.
Yep.
There are many communities of color, foreign communities of color, not Black Americans.
Right.
And so we still see the effects of redlining on Black American communities. But many of the immigrants are capitalists and straight up acknowledge, oh, those are the rules of this country. Easy. I'll use those. Yeah. Completely not caring about whatever the race. Like, we're just going to make our own business. I don't care what the racism is. Give me that grant. Give me that business loan. Even if I don't, we will consolidate our funds after working for a few years.
Yeah.
Make our business. And now my cousin Lenny, he's going to make one on the other side of town. Cousin Bob, he's going to make one on the other side of town. Susan's going to go over there, make another restaurant. Every single one of our family members has their own business.
I kind of want to call Sanaul and see what he says about this.
I won't stop you. They'll probably go in.
Let me see if I can call him. Let me see
what if I can call him. I see you, Angela. What are you saying? You're breathing.
I feel like, but that also says a lot about us here in America, because you're saying like people from other countries, foreign people come over and they're like, oh look, like it's America, like blah blah blah, where like it's ingrained in us here, like Black Americans here, that after years and years, like I remember growing up and not hearing anything negative about like just like the white people, like just in general, like there was nothing ever negative. It was like, oh yeah, it was like, wait a minute. And then you get older and you're like, wait a minute,
the reason why,
like what? So again, like generation after generation, like we're kind of taught that, and like these stereotypes, I feel like words have power. So like after years and years of telling yourself like, oh, I guess this is who we are,
what we do,
and this is what we do, and then it's just where other people kind of come and they can see outside and see us, and they're like, oh, America, we can do anything there. I have a friend who I met he's from the Netherlands,
nice,
and he was like, I've only been here for like a year. And he goes, oh, you Americans, I don't understand. You can make money like it's nothing. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And this guy is ridiculous because I was like, I don't understand how. And he's like, it's easy to make money here. But I think it's that like limiting your mind. Like we limit ourselves because of what we're taught and like how we, how like society, like what has society has like ingrained in us, you know, and we kind of like create these like mental blockades, like, dang, like I guess I won't be, or I can't do, or this, where it's like we can't see like resources, or we might not have the resources, but like, you know, we don't even know that they're there or in place. You know, like we have like, okay, for instance, foreclosures, right? Like I don't know how many people know that like your city, a lot of cities and counties have a lot of resources for foreclosure help, you know, and like I, was really close to somebody that had that happen, and it was just like,
wait, you could have done something.
Yeah, and it's like, what? Like really? There's so many opportunities that you can do, and I don't think that they knew that.
Probably didn't. They probably just weren't privy to the information. Yeah, we have a hard time navigating capitalism here as Black people. Yeah,
there's definitely been there are and were and still are systems in place that were meant to keep that information from us, or at least meant not, maybe even not specifically Black people, but like poorer people. There are systems put in place where like there are walls that you need to get past and glass ceilings you got to get past to even have access to the information. If you never have someone who's an investor come to your schools to teach you what investing is, or someone
to learn that on your own,
grants and loans.
All good financial advice that I learned on my own.
You can learn home ec, but you can't learn financial planning. Okay.
Can't learn financial literacy.
Teach all the kids and many times the girls, sadly, you can take care of the home, but don't worry about any form of comprehending finances. Don't worry about bill paying. Don't worry about
checking account.
Don't worry about your accounts. Come on, don't worry about banks. LOL.
Investment? Retirement?
Trash. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. Learn that on your own. I know that
but
guys.
They're quick to give you a credit card. Here.
That's the first thing they'll teach you. Build your credit. Literally, why? Why are we building this?
What the heck
but
is
you
credit?
Need to do it, young adult. Here's a card.
Wait, I have to be in debt for you to think that I could be in more debt?
Of course.
Huh?
Didn't you
And the
know?
more debt that I'm in, the better?
Yes.
But if I close the card, it's bad?
Horrendous.
No.
How dare you not spend more money to then have to spend more money? Right, when I tell you overdraft fees are the most heinous, sinful thing.
Heinous.
Absolutely sinful.
Heinous. We'll give you the money, but you're going to pay us back tenfold.
If
interest rates.
If they give you the money. Because sometimes they'll just decline the purchase and also take out.
So embarrass you and take out.
Cash. Like, oh, I see you didn't have money to pay this. I'm just going to go ahead and put you in debt. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody else.
For each time you, of course, buy something. It's disgusting.
Let me see if Sanaul answered.
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Maybe he won't. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, man. Dude. Oh, my heart.
Oh, my bad.
It's so fast every time. I'm going to
my bad.
Do that right quick.
I don't know if he's home.
Oh, Jesus.
Sanaul.
Oh, he answered.
Oh,
that's right.
How you doing? Yeah, actually, we're on the pod. I wanted to ask you a question since you being Bengali and whatnot. You might know a little bit better than me. You okay with that?
Sure. Go. Shoot.
All right. So we're talking about community on this episode and like gentrification. And
sure.
I was pointing out they told me that the Dunkin' Donuts in Atlanta gets closed down, and I didn't know that. And okay. I thought to myself, I've never seen like any of these like either convenience stores or like gas stations or like any of these food franchises that Indian people own actually really closed down like that. And I was wondering, like, is that like a community thing that when like if an Indian person like migrates here that they end up with like a business or any type of small business or franchise?
So I can't speak for all of them, but I know the Dunkin' Donuts for the most part throughout Palm Beach County are owned by one particular family. Like, it might be different brothers who've had it.
Wait, you said Palm Beach County?
Yeah, in the county, in this area. So, well, and not, I should clarify that too. But a lot of them, like down in the Boca, Delray, and maybe a little further south, they're owned by one particular family. And like they own at the time, this was like 10 years ago. I knew they had 26 stores. I'm sure they probably have twice that many stores now. Oh yeah, exactly.
Good God.
Yeah, and most of them, they hire and employ Bengalis and Indians specifically because you recognize your own kind, so you want to work with your own kind. Everybody kind of has similar roots. Plus, it's kind of a low stress gig in that it's a job you could do if you don't have an education. And a lot of people who are coming from a third world country don't have an education, so like this is the perfect medley, the perfect fit for them, to get into. Even though I'm of the opinion the job takes advantage of the people that work there because of that. I think there are better opportunities for them, but because like Dunkin' doesn't invest in its employees the way that maybe Publix does. Like you could spend a whole career in Publix, 20 years and walk away with something. Dunkin',
some stock,
not really.
Yeah.
That's probably because the ownership model, right? I mean, it's meant to, it's for profit.
Interesting.
For owners only. Everybody else is just labor.
So capitalism at its best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that seems like it.
Capitalism at its best.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's amazing they're even allowed to keep their tips. Like it's that bad.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that, Sanaul.
Appreciate you. We were just wondering.
That was a fantastic little bit, man. Thank you. And fits right into exactly what we were thinking and talking about. Just the mentality of people coming over.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just people know people. So like, oh well, you want to get into work? Here's something easy you could do if you don't have an education. Like that's just the go-to. Yeah. And then if you've ever seen like 7-Elevens and shit like that, those are like independently owned by one particular family. Sometimes they own multiple stores, but the people who work the stores are also the people who own them. Where like the Dunkin' chain, at least in this Palm Beach County area, they're all owned by Indians and they're all run by Bengalis.
Wow.
We're the label. But it's a pretty stark.
That's interesting. Contract. I did not know that.
The more you know.
It's a conglomerate.
The more you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they started about probably in the mid to late 80s, you could say. A handful of families got in. They really boomed in the 90s and early 2000s. I'd say boomed, in the 90s, and then it's just been growing. I mean, have you seen Dunkin' ever not keep expanding?
That's what I'm saying.
Nope,
yeah, that's why I was surprised that it would close down. I'm like, no way.
But but the one on Atlantic though in Swinton is again, it is closed, but it's because they're gentrifying it. They are no, I'm serious. Like they're stepping up that little block, and they're going to be making it a new building.
So when you say the one in Atlanta, you're not talking about the one next to the Victor's Indian place on Congress. You're talking about the one that's down the Ave.
Yeah, the one closer on the Ave on Swinton,
like across from the library.
Yeah, so that one's stepping up.
That one's probably not owned in the same network, but I would probably bet the reason why they're closing down is because costs are pretty obscene over there. Like that's the only thing I can imagine for. Or owner passed away, they didn't give the business down to somebody, or poor management, or old infrastructure. I mean, there's a lot of things that they don't close. If you're making any money at all, you probably keep the place.
That was my thought.
Yeah, I don't think they're closing. I think they're temporarily closing so they can renovate the whole area. That makes more sense. Yeah. I think they're making it like a storefront building.
Beautifying.
So they'll put Dunkin' Donuts and Doc's in it and be able to have more stores, maybe apartments above. I don't know. But I think like Ziri, which is right next to it, I think that's really the kind of concept they're going for on that little block where it's stores, apartments
on top.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. We'll see in like 5-10 years, I guess.
All right. So listen, just let me know when you're trying to get a franchise together, bro.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks.
I'm in.
Listen, man, if you want to get into a franchise, the one to get into is a fucking I'm not saying none of y'all could do it. I definitely can't do it. I can't get into Chick-fil-A. Like that is the best.
that's tough to
get into.
It's tough to get
into. Although it's tough, but so if you own one of those franchises, you're not considered an owner because Chick-fil-A owns everything.
Right.
If you're an operator and the operators 60-hour work weeks for the rest of their lives as long as they own or operate, quote unquote.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I know.
McDonald's is another good one. I mean, if you can get the funding to do it, McDonald's, they buy up everything because they're a real estate company and you just pay them the rent.
Facts.
And you keep, I think, 5% of the total sales, which on average is like about $150,000 for the store.
Not bad.
And if you own multiple, you're a multimillionaire.
You're good. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting.
You gotta bring quite a bit of capital. I think it's like 500,000 or something like that.
That's doable. That's doable in Biden's America.
Wendy's is impossible to get into. Fun fact. Did you know that?
Wendy's. No. Really?
Wendy's. Apparently, you have to have a net worth of $5 million in liquid assets to be able to open a Wendy's. Yeah. Like, if you ever wondered why you don't see many Wendy's anywhere, that's probably the number one reason why. They literally require $5 million in liquid assets to your net worth if you want to own it.
No expansion at all. That's why they're going downhill.
That's insane. What?
Chick-fil-A, on the other hand, doesn't care if you don't have a penny to your name.
Right. Because they own it anyway, but you can operate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
I think there's a couple other ones like Jack in the Box, which I've never seen one in real life. Like one of those.
I've seen one in a mall. I've only seen one in a mall.
I've never seen them.
That's it.
There you go. That's why they got like an impossible, not an impossible, but just a high bar for entry.
Right. Oh, that's interesting, dog. I don't know any of this stuff.
I mean, I guess the high bar, like, maybe, I guess, ensures quality, though. I guess, you know.
I guess, but think about Jack.
I mean, if you're trying to make money, I mean, like, why you got to reinvent the wheel and like open your own, you know, line of, food and style? Like, I just, copy and paste the model that works.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. McDonald's.
At this point, it's easier to get a Wingstop, so.
Might be easier to get a UPS. I think with UPS, the big thing is if you can find like a really good location, obviously you have to have some cash.
Yeah.
They'll fund.
They'll fund you.
Interesting. Fine. Okay, then.
That's why you get more UPS stores than you do FedEx.
This is very interesting stuff. All right, so now I appreciate you, man, helping us out here. I learned something new today.
What's that?
I knew you were the guy to call.
Yeah, that was.
I knew you were the guy to call. Not because you've been godly, because I knew you knew more about this. It just so happened that you've been godly.
It was both. Yeah, it was both.
All right, my boy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, talk to you guys.
All right, man. Appreciate
Good stuff, man. Thank you.
I knew Sanaul was going to be the guy.
Yeah, I was pretty blessed.
I knew he was going to be the guy because he complains to me about this all the time.
Yeah, that was pretty blessed.
He complains about America all the time. I knew he knew all this.
I as well. So I knew he was going to be great.
But that's interesting. Great. I didn't know that the Dunkin' Donuts thing was a conglomerate.
It's like that, man. Listen.
Wow.
In the whole county. That's crazy.
That's fire. Why can't we do that?
That's a great question. I ask that all the time. And I think that it might come from the ego created by white America and embraced by black America subconsciously that makes us prideful and want to always start our own businesses, which it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's not what we should do. I'm just saying what I think happens. I think a lot of us are like, well, they have their businesses. They created their own thing. Why can't we? So let's create our own business. But also a lot of the tools and knowledge and information that would help us actually do it effectively isn't necessarily there because we aren't asking a franchise for help. We aren't asking them who, has been doing it for decades. What is the correct way to make a bar, make a restaurant, make a gallery, make a, whatever the heck the franchise is.
Permits and stuff.
All those permits,
licenses,
grants, loans, permits.
I went to a small business meeting with Shep. Were you there? You were there, weren't you? And the dude who was talking to us said on the thing, his restaurant's closed.
Yep. He
was talking to us about how he started his restaurant.
Yeah, that's what
his restaurant shut down.
And it shut down literally as
like a couple months after that meeting.
Couple months after that, it shut right down, dude. And they just had him there. And it sucks because what I remember the meeting. It wasn't
even open for a year.
It was basically a black conglomerate of businesses all attempting to create a network that can help each other out. To two of the three people who are on that stage have their businesses closed. And they both tried. It's not me making fun of no, they both tried to make it on Atlantic Avenue on the black side of town, and both of them had them closed down.
Yeah.
Because of just too much red tape and issues to get through to try and keep it open.
Yeah.
It just sucks because like we again see as we try to make our own businesses, there's a lot of extra steps we just don't know.
Right.
Versus if we just succumbed to a franchise.
Yeah.
You know?
Evidently not Wendy's because you gotta be a fucking millionaire. You know they approved the new police department.
Oh.
Yeah. 80 million.
Oh.
Yeah, they're gonna
That's
build
fun.
a new police department.
Interesting.
Where?
A good question.
Oh.
Wondering
Okay.
if
I don't know where.
Wonder if they're just going to rebuild it on the same site or if they're going to have a new area that they'll build it on. And I wonder if it's going to be eminent domain and F up a black neighborhood.
I had
to
that
build
same
it.
thought.
You know,
They're gonna probably, I don't know if they're gonna force anybody to sell.
Peculiar. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
possibly, potentially.
What are they going to do with the old one?
Who knows?
Maybe it'll be a SWAT training
Maybe they'll
site.
add it to the courthouse.
Maybe.
Maybe
Yeah, maybe it'll
expand
just
the
be.
courthouse. It's right next to it. So
That's true.
you never know.
Even more justice. Yay.
Yeah, it's more law.
Justice, law.
Now that we're talking about the government, how can local governments and policymakers address the change of gentrification?
Acknowledge it?
Number one.
Okay.
Number one. Yeah. That's that right there. Is just acknowledging that it is happening and not acting like, oh, it's just a natural part of the process. Like, no.
I mean,
gentrification is different than renovation or not reignition. What's the word?
Revitalization.
Revitalization. Revitalization and gentrification are not the same thing.
right.
Revitalization primarily deals with the people who already have been long-term tenants, deals with the people who have been living there, deals with the places that are there, the mom and pop companies that are there, actively trying to make it
But
work.
you can tell they don't revitalize until it starts to gentrify.
That's
Because that
what
road that
happens.
my mom's house is on could have been redone ages ago.
That's the problem.
We've been there like 20 some odd years.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's
20
a,
years we've been there. It could have been done.
enough gentrification has to happen that it sparks revitalization.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. Like no matter what, gentrification is a natural part of urban society, period. You're kind of have to upgrade the stuff around the urban area to have it keep up with it. But revitalizing it is something that needs to happen faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, acknowledging that gentrification must occur is the first step, but it should be acknowledging that, then moving to revitalization.
Right.
Not acting on the gentrification.
Because if you think about it, like if you revitalize a neighborhood and then build up an apartment complex, you don't think of it as gentrification.
Right.
Like just like, you know, like
You don't.
let's say like a middle class area, you don't really think of it. So if you were to revitalize the area, you know, keep it like have an upkeep, you know, and then you know, it wouldn't be gentrification then. You know, like
you'd be like, oh, they're building new things around the neighborhood.
yeah, and around the
For
neighborhood,
us,
you know?
Yeah.
that's what matters. It needs to be affordable to the people who have been living there.
Yeah.
It needs to be for the people
Affordable
who
is
are there.
another thing.
Yeah.
Affordable housing is
Which
a big
that's what
deal.
it is. It's the
Yeah.
balance. You need
Yes.
to have like the market rate price housing, and you have to have like affordable housing. Like
Right.
there's a balance there,
Yeah.
not just one over the other.
Right.
Because then one drives up the other price.
Yes.
Or if you had both, it kind of keeps it,
Yeah.
you know, available for everyone in the neighborhood.
Yeah, now you get like low key
Prices.
forced to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know how it looks like on A1A.
Mm-hmm.
How
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to be a millionaire to even
Oh,
sniff the
you
air out there.
Yeah. Facts.
I feel like you're gonna try to make it seem the same because they're like even on if you go down north on Swinton,
Mm-hmm.
all those houses right before you get to Lake
They
Ida,
are getting
son.
built.
I just went down there
Girl.
maybe like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what in the world?
What?
Yeah.
I've never been over here.
Yeah.
What is
Up.
this?
If you you go all the way down
Oh.
Swinton till like it turns near Seacrest, and you
drive
all
down. Yeah,
the
Disney of
houses.
houses.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, what is this?
It's a menagerie.
There's
Like,
no code. Like everything is different.
Nah,
Yeah.
It's
every
crazy.
house is
Wow.
different.
Yeah,
All of them are
you enter
crazy.
a brand new
I
zip
can't
code.
afford anything.
No,
No,
I didn't even want to get gas over there.
you can't. You
It's
can't
like,
afford gas.
no.
$10 a gallon over
Yeah,
there.
bro. All those houses low 800,000 easy.
Yeah,
Easily. Okay.
insane.
And
Do they accept kidneys? Ugh.
sorry, that's not enough.
I'll give my left arm because I'm
Jeez.
right-handed.
Wow, that covers only the first month.
The closing fee? Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Gosh.
Oh, that's only utilities. Sorry, buddy. My bad.
Next month, I'm gonna want your leg.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
can't
can't
even.
afford it here.
Firstborn for the first year.
That's it.
Easily.
Not the sacrifice of
Only
your
for the first year,
firstborn.
bro. Only the first year. Calm down.
Oh my god!
Don't get that excited. Only the first year.
Yeah, we can have our policymakers make policies that help the people that are already there. and not erase them.
That's what it needs to be, man. Like, there has to be policies that are telling the people, hey, we get that you've, I don't know, been forced to live here like 3 generations ago thanks to redlining and are now actually making a life for yourself. We're going to help you keep living here and making a life for yourself, not just kick you out of here because we don't want you here. You know, like make policies.
What happened to the Pompey Park thing?
Right. They are actively working with the architecture firm to, do it, but
it's the people in the neighborhood.
Yes. So the current battle with many neighborhoods is like youth and elders. The elders are saying, we have been here for generations, blood, sweat, and tears to be in this neighborhood. I don't want to leave. Like it sucks that they're gentrifying, and I don't want them to push us out of it. The youth are going, listen, on paper, it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1/4 acre, not even 1/5 of an acre, down here for like $500,000-$600,000. You can, on paper, go to like Carolinas, Tennessee, a bit north from that, Georgia, get like a 5-4 lakefront access. Oh, someone left the boat there. No worries, just thrown on in. You also have like a 3-car garage.
$350,000.
Easily $350,000. Like, nonsense.
Texas.
So like on paper, it completely makes sense to just leave. Right? Like on paper, it should be a mass exodus of people of color moving from all these redlined areas and creating their own cities. However, both are right. The people who have been here forever are like, no, we deserve to have these high value lots. It should be high value and still affordable to the people living on it forever. Right. Our cost of living shouldn't go up. The value of it should go up. But why am I now paying extra $600 on my mortgage I've never needed to pay, but now that some other people are moving in, is going up a few hundred every couple months? That's insanity. So it's pushing out people who have been living here, and there's very direct ways of kicking people out, like, oh hey, I see you're living here, I'm just going to increase your rent by $1,000. Well, that's
not to mention rent.
That's a lot. That's gas and food and like daycare gone, if you're trying to do an extra $1,000 a month or whatever. So, but then there's also the raise the value of everything else around, change the demographic around you, change what you are used to so that you do not feel like you even know the area anymore.
I mean, you can't connect with the people.
You can't connect with the people. It's not the, you're,
you can try, but it's not going to be.
Or they're even like rented out. I heard that before, where like people will buy a property, and I had a guy who was like, he was excited because a doctor bought the house next door, but then like he Airbnb'd it, and he was just like, so there was like no connection at all, like,
ever to the people next door to you.
No. He's like, I've never seen them before. After that, I haven't seen them. I was like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
2 houses down from us, same exact thing. We have no concept who these people are, and every couple of years it's rented out by a different group of people, and we're like, we want to connect with you, but last 6 people who live in here all left within a couple of years. I have no desire to get to know you, man. Sorry.
You know what? I had a comment about the library and I forgot to give because I called Sanaul.
Oh, true.
Library.
But so the library is privately owned. The library is privately owned. The city pays whoever owns it to run the library, although it's the Delray Beach Library. Yeah. But it's not owned by Delray Beach.
Interesting.
Just kind of like Old School Square. So
is that the next Old School Square? Okay.
So a fun fact is
Delray.
A fun fact is that my coworker actually used to work at the library when we were going to anime club and like game nights and like movie nights. He was working there, and now I'm working with him. And we were talking about it earlier today, and I'm like, holy snap!
That's interesting.
Oh, you were a librarian there. He's like, yeah, I used to work there. Yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. I seen you, but I don't remember, obviously, because I never paid attention to it.
Oh man!
So we were talking about that, and we were talking about how that they had that one security guard. His name is Stan, but I don't know if you remember how he was. He had kind of like a lazy eyes. He was just kind of like a chill security guard, but he had a handle on like the hooligans that would come into the library.
Yeah.
But because Stan was of the community, he knew how to handle the kids.
Yeah.
He would just be like, hey, Like, he might even have known them. Like, yo, I'm gonna tell your mom. I'm gonna tell your grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Or tell your grandma. You know what I'm saying? So he knew the people there. He was of the community. So he always kind of had a handle on things. So when Stan was there wasn't any real like anything bad that happened at the library.
Yeah, now it's police officers.
Now it's fucking police officers.
Yeah, there's usually one or two
and
officers
like
there. Full garb. They're
full garb.
Yeah, they're there. And
I'm like, what y'all protecting?
They sit the books. DeSantis coming after him, bro. We gotta defend him.
Bro, my man's protecting.
Bro, like, he is right at the entrance, sitting right there at the front. Is a police officer almost every time I walk in. If they're not the front, then they're sitting right outside. But there is always a police officer in there. And that's not me. I don't hate the cops for that. Right. I don't hate the library for that. I'm just saying.
But that's what happens when you have different type of people that come into the neighborhood and they see
so many
black
tourists
kids,
are coming. So many people
don't know the area that haven't lived here but have bought property here or have had businesses here. Yeah. And now coming to live here from probably up north. It's shiny.
90% chance here. That's true.
And probably up north, and then they want to go to the library, but they don't feel quote unquote safe. This is just an opinion. But I feel like
no, it's true. No, it's true.
I feel like this has some facts behind it.
It's true.
But now they don't feel safe, and then now the library security is not enough. They need a cop. These hooligans are around, and these hooligans just happen to be black most of the time.
A part of gentrification is also increased policing in these areas to make tourists feel safe. It is a deliberate choice by the people who own most of these lots and by the city. They know that they want these areas to be available to wealthier people moving in. So we do get more police activity around these areas. People love police. And it's peculiar because for years and years and years and years and years in many of these gentrified areas, people have asked for police, like actually more police intervention of like, hey, can you patrol more? Can you, like they have actually asked in a lot of these communities, but not gotten answers. Now that gentrification is starting, now they're answering more of these requests, and now there's more policing in a lot of these communities. Now they're working on a lot of the like
community. They have a lot of community. They have a community like task force actually.
Community task force. Exactly. I was trying to get to.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That their sole job is to go to like events and be present.
They bring ice cream and popcorn. Ice cream.
Well, you got me on the ice cream.
Go in front. That's how they get you. I'm like, all right, they're pretty all right. They got ice cream. It's free. Listen, they got events and they have free ice cream and popcorn. I ain't gonna lie, they seem like friendly people. All right. They seem all right. They're all right with me.
That's how they get you.
All right with me.
That brings us some positive
a button.
Like, gotta be a button. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Listen, they brought popcorn one time, and I was like, "Oh, this is mighty butterful. I like it." Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but I actually want to go to the library pretty soon and see how it's changed.
It's nice. No, it's nice there. I did a art class there. Actually, I was working with a guy named C-Ron. He's an awesome community advocate. C-Ron Allen. And he does a bunch of community activities. He gets a bunch of grants to do like community activities, youth activities. And we were teaching an art class there. And like nearly the entire bottom floor, half of it is just a children's section, which is dope. First of all, like it is freaking awesome in there. On the second floor, there's a bunch of computers, another library you can go look through. Like it is a really cool library. There's a bunch of like rooms and activity rooms, event rooms, offices. It's really cool going in there. And they do events all the time now. It's worth it, man. Okay. Libraries are great also. Fantastic community, centralized
hopefully they're still doing enough for the kids, man. Because I know a lot of old people like to have their stuff done at the library.
They give breakfast every day. They have breakfast there. Yeah, they have breakfast for at least I know it's for summer. Sorry. I know for summer they were giving breakfast every single day. So like kids would come there, get breakfast, hang out there. They have like an event for like a few hours. That way, at least in the mornings, people have something to do with their kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was really fire. I'm telling you, dude, like libraries are like in the past, churches were strong community centers. Beyond that, it was schools. Those were the two things that made events for like most communities. If it wasn't that, it's trade days or like holidays. That's about it. Maybe weddings, birthdays. Nowadays, a lot of those central mall places, not that they've gone away, but we've lost a lot of them because of like our highway movement and making a disgusting amount of road space for cars instead of meeting space for people.
Yeah.
And so now like libraries are some of the last few bastions of like strangers can just be there and hang out, you know. That was why like Books A Million was like wildly important back in the past. True. You know, so like bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, those are just cool places where people happen to meet, they hang out, and there's no expectation. That's also what's important. There's no expectation of you to have to get out ASAP, to have to leave. You can just walk in, sit down, and be there as long as you want. You know, there's not a lot of places that actually like to do that, which is really cool.
Changing so much. There's going to be a part 2 to this. And I actually do want to do it with real estate agents.
Okay.
Because I want to know, because I'm sure gentrification's fire for them.
For sure.
Because this is where they make super bread. Commissions on these houses must be ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. And we're seeing more and more people realize real estate is the way to go and make a lot of money, you know. And if Black people get into real estate, like that's kind of a wise thing that helps people get the places they need to be.
Listen, if you learned something in this episode, you're welcome. I said you weren't gonna learn things and I lied.
See, I told you.
Sometimes you be learning stuff.
We got facts. We got some facts out here.
Yeah, shout out to Sanaul. Thanks Sanaul for contributing. I knew you would. I knew you the guy.
Bless.
You can find this episode on all your favorite podcast platforms. Support us as best you can. You know, you can listen and stuff. We're no longer on Anchor because Anchor doesn't exist anymore.
What?
It's been usurped by Spotify for podcasters.
The more you know.
So it's just Spotify now. It's just Spotify. This is where we host. So listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Video will be out on Saturday, where I hope to be at the Renaissance Fair.
Hey.
Take some pictures. We'll see. I might call Rutherford, see if he wants to come to. But we'll see. Hopefully you guys weren't bored by this episode. Hopefully you learned a lot. And thanks Angie for coming.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the Albert!
You said Renaissance Fair.
It's also Albert.
I got excited. I'm sorry.
It's a lot about nothing.
I got excited. I'm sorry.
Peace.